one prepares you for the moment when your role as a mom begins to change. When everything you've poured into for years starts to shift. And even though it's good, even though it's right, it still feels hard, and that's the season I find myself in right now. Welcome to Faith and Resilience, your weekly dose of practical tips, encouragement, and faith-filled inspiration. Hi, I'm Jacqueline, and welcome to Faith and Resilience. This is a space where we're going to talk about real life, the transitions, the unexpected seasons, and the moments that stretch us in ways we never anticipated. But more importantly, it's where we learn to walk through those seasons with faith, with emotional strength, and with purpose. So we don't just get through life, we truly thrive. And there are seasons in life when change doesn't come one piece at a time. It comes all at once. And that's where I find myself right now. After 20 years in women's ministry, a role that wasn't just something I did, but a deep part of who I was, part of my identity, I made the decision to step away so I could fully lead in a new role that I knew that God was placing in my life. I knew I was being called to this new place, but still letting go of something that had shaped me, shaped my identity for so long, honestly has not been easy. It's been much harder than I ever anticipated. Secondly, my daughter, who has special needs, recently graduated from high school, and now we're trying to navigate what her next steps are going to look like, which is change and stressful in and of itself. My middle son, JD, has graduated from college just last December, and he has started a career, and he's stepping out into independence. And then my husband, after 30 years of teaching, is retiring and preparing for a second career. And it's all wonderful. It's all amazing. But there's so much changing all at once. And I have found myself holding on to both deep gratitude and quiet uncertainty. I'm so grateful for what God is doing and has done, but I'm stretched by what it's requiring me to release. But I will tell you, of all the changes in this season, the one that has touched my heart the deepest is something really exciting, and that is that my son, my oldest son, my firstborn, the son that made me a mom, is getting married. And I want to say I love the young woman he is marrying. I could not love her more. She is a gift to him and a gift to our family, and I'm so very grateful. This is something that I have prayed for, I have hoped for, and I have dreamed about for him and tried to prepare him for his whole entire life. And yet, this is a place where I am learning to let go in a way I never have before. Now, I'm not letting go of my love. I'll never do that. I'm not letting go of our relationship. I'm still his mama. But letting go of my role is shifting. It is shifting. It is changing. I'm realizing that I am no longer the primary voice in his life. In fact, I had a conversation with him recently, and I told him, I am no longer your first phone call. And this is exactly how it's supposed to be. As I said, this is what I prepared him for. And here's what I'm learning in this season. Even when something is absolutely right, it can still be incredibly hard. You can be grateful and still feel the weight of letting go. And that tension does not mean that something is wrong. It just means that something's changing, something's stretching you, something's growing. And learning how to navigate that tension well, not ignoring it. I'm learning I don't need to react out of it, but actually I need to process it in a healthy way. That's where emotional resilience is being built. That's where we learn how to stay grounded in who we are, in our own identity, even when everything around us is shifting. And honestly, I think that's the work of this season for me. I don't need to try to rush past it. I don't need to try to, not bypass it, but I need to truly learn to walk through it with intention and with faith and with a steady heart. I don't need to get emotional, although I can have emotion. I don't need to react out of emotion. Maybe for you, it's not a son or a daughter getting married. Maybe it's that your role is changing, your job, your career. Maybe it's a child that's growing up and moving on to another phase, leaving preschool, going to elementary. That's hard. Leaving elementary and going to middle, or going to high school, or going off to college. Maybe you're becoming an empty nester. Maybe it is a new season that you did not fully anticipate or expect. But if you've ever felt the tension of, I'm so grateful, and yet this is still hard, I want you to know you're not alone. In fact, this is exactly why I created my Thrive framework, because life is full of transitions just like this. Moments where we have to train our mind to think differently and reset our emotions and learn how to embrace change with faith and with strength. So in this series, I want to invite you on this journey with me. We're going to talk about what it really looks like to open up our hands and let go, how to navigate identity shifts, and how to build healthy relationships in these changing seasons. And I'll also be bringing in some other voices because I want us to get perspectives from everyone. Maybe I can find a bride or a groom that'll give me their perspective, because I started thinking about that and what it must be like for my son and his fiance, or her mom and dad, not just me. It's all different. Or maybe I'll bring in some empty nesters. We're going to have a great time with this. I think that one of the most important things, though, I'm learning in this season is that just because something feels hard doesn't mean it's wrong. Sometimes the most beautiful, meaningful transitions in our lives require us to let go, to trust, and to step into something new before we feel fully ready. Let me say that again. It requires us to let go, to trust, and to step into that something new before we actually feel fully ready. And that's where I am right now. So if that's where you are right now, I want you to remember this and listen in. You are not losing your place. You are being led into it. You are not losing your place, whether it's in a relationship or a job or a new phase of life. You're not losing your place. You're not disappearing. You're not forgotten. You are being led into it. And you don't have to navigate it alone. So if this resonated with you, I created a free guide that walks you through my Thrive framework to help you move through seasons like this with clarity, with emotional strength, and with faith. You can find it in the description below. And if this has encouraged you, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel and continue this journey with me, because you do not have to go through this season alone. And you don't just have to get through it. You and I can learn how to thrive through it. I'll see you next time.